everybody, and welcome to the Lines and Tarot. Today we will be doing a reading on Tao. Former member of EXO. I will be an exo-m, and I will be just checking on him, seeing how he's doing, how things will be going for him, and what's the next biggest event that will be happening in his life. Alright, so if you're new here, welcome to the family. Welcome to being a subscriber. Just hit that the subscribe button below and join us. Hit the like button if you like readings like this, if you want to see more readings from me like this. Also consider becoming a Cub member, a Den member, or a pack leader. They have special perks to each tier, where every Saturday when I go live as a Cub member, you get one free question answered. As a Den member, you get all my videos early, and as a pack leader, you get to have a video tarot reading done for you on whatever topic of your choice. Also, consider joining my Patreon. That's also linked in the description. Alright, so let's get started. Tao, step into the den. So let's get into what the overall energy for Tao is for the next few months or upcoming months. Just what do we have around Tao? I feel like I'm going to need multiple oracle decks for this, which is interesting. So how's let's see, what's the energy around Tao? Trust and thrive is the energy around Tao. Okay. Let's see. Finding sanctuary, open your spiritual source. Is in reverse. Wandering path, enjoy your journey. So it seems like Tao is on a stage and a journey to spirituality. I've noticed a lot of nature is kind of, sorry, let me make sure this camera is straightened. I noticed that a lot of nature is actually in these cards here. And so I don't know if that's something that he's probably going to be needing to help clear his mind, clear his head, just to be sort of out amongst the trees, amongst the grass, and amongst the winds. But for him, he is going through a inner growth, a spiritual growth. But it seems like at the end of the road right here, there is a block. It's almost like he is growing, he's thriving, and things start to get a little more complicated. Not overly complicated, some minor things, but it seems like for him, he may be a type to get very frustrated over small things. And so even though the end goal is this spiritual growth, this evolved form of his former self, it's like once he arrives at this goal, at the sanctuary, at the opening his spiritual self, it's almost like he decides against it. So it's like him blocking his own blessings. I wonder why that is. It could be him being scared of it. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and draw a card. This is a book in here. I had to take the book out, sorry. I was shuffling the book. So I'm going to go ahead and just take pull a card for him to see. We have Masquerade. So Masquerade is just talking about him. Again, it's not almost like not wanting to acknowledge, and here's what I feel like it is. Tao is not yet ready to acknowledge his own inner hurt and pain. He's not ready to delve into his dark side. He's not in his shadow self. He's not ready to open up the can of all of the pain, hurt, and suffering that he's endured. Tao is not ready to deal with that. It's like he'd rather just keep the mask on because, I'm sorry, they're mowing lawns outside, but because in order to actually be aware of what you've been through, I mean, not saying that he's not aware, but aware, to acknowledge, to open up, is still to be in a constant state of stress and a constant state of depression, because from last time I checked, I think he's still signed onto SM, like he's contracted with them. I'm hoping the years have been up. I don't know, you guys. Please inform me below if you follow Tao and you know if whether or not his contract with the SM is finally up. Because I remember, I know with him being removed from EXO and everything, but he still had to do his contract and work a certain number of years under them irregardless, because he lost his lawsuit. So, you know, clarify to me whether he's still within that bounds. But yeah, it's like he's absolutely scared of himself, to be honest. He's absolutely scared of himself. And he doesn't want to unravel the darkness that seems to be within him. So where he's going is, I guess you could say that this is a start of him evolving and growing, and a start of him truly being able to start the process of healing. But at the last minute, he seems to get very scared of it and he runs away. So he's kind of stuck on this path. It's going to make his journey a lot longer. It's still there. The ending of the sanctuary is still there, but it's also like it's not going to come. It's not going to come at the rate that it should have. All right, so let's go ahead and just get into, let's do a reading on basically how his relationship is with Kris and Luhan. So I'm going to pull a card for Kris, okay? Stress for Kris. I wonder why he's stressed. And then Luhan, what's the energy for his energy status for him and Luhan? Okay. Freedom. So there still seems to be stress when it comes to Kris. It still seems like their relationship isn't perfect. There's still awkwardness. And with this stress, it does seem like a shrink kind of thing. I've noticed that. Again, sorry, they're mowing lawns and riding mopeds in the yard. So it's almost as if Kris and Tao actually have not fully sorted out their issues, because Kris and Tao had issues from the time that they separated. I did a reading, but this is a personal one before I ever started recording, that Tao may have said something to Kris in Kris's departure that shamed him for leaving the group. It was something really, really hurtful that Kris has never let go of, and he never will let go of. Tao said something to him. This is what I picked up a few years back when I did a reading. That Tao had said something to Kris that was so extremely hurtful and cut him so deeply that Kris thought he would never, ever forgive Tao. And he's not going to get over what Tao said or did to him, or how Tao did him. So that's why, or at least the way my cards told me, why their relationship was so awkward. And why they didn't seem to be friends for a while and or after the separation. So this is kind of like what this shrink here is telling me, that they have not really been able to fully talk about their feelings, or really go into detail about what hurt them, why they were upset with each other, and that stops them from actually getting close. This is kind of like goes in hand with this winding path here and Masquerade. Tao is not willing to delve deep within himself and address the parts of him that wronged others, address the parts of him that were wronged, address any of those darker parts of himself. So he keeps this mask on to keep himself seeming like someone who's got it under control, someone who is strong, someone who is rebellious, but in reality he's just hiding himself, and he's just trying to protect himself from having to face trauma. Okay. Him and Luhan pretty much have a very free, open relationship. They're all right. They're casual. There's nothing extremely toxic about them. Rivalry comes out for Kris and Tao. So they're in rivalry. More of what I'm actually seeing here is also some sort of, it's envy and jealousy. This is Tao feeling towards Kris, I believe. I think if you guys would have to let me know, Kris is more popular than Tao in China. I believe Kris has a lot of money, and Tao is... Okay, so let me tell you what I think is awkward. If he's still under SM, I think what this could be is that where Kris did what he needed to do, left and won his lawsuit, and Tao lost his lawsuit, was robbed of all of his money, and had to still work for them out of that slave contract. It's like when you meet again, it's kind of like all of the words that Tao allegedly had, you know, possibly said to Kris when Kris decided to leave on his own terms, are basically biting him in his ass now. So he's looking at Kris, who's someone who's extremely successful and rich at this time, and him who's suffering because the company, because of SM slave contract, and still not being able to earn the type of money that he should be earning. And it's kind of like every time he sees Kris, he's reminded of that. And so then every time Kris sees Tao, he's reminded of what Tao allegedly had said to him before when he was leaving. So it's, this awkwardness is very large, and it's a very deep ball of emotions that has not yet been unraveled. It's a very deep conflict that has not been settled yet. And this is regardless if Tao is still under SM or not. The fact of the matter is it happened, and that is a huge boulder within their relationship. So that's very hard for them to get over. Like I said, Tao and Luhan are pretty fine. They're very casual. They have their similarities and differences, and they're able to completely coexist. They're okay. And so let's go ahead, last and not least, go into what is the next biggest things or events to be happening for Tao. What is the next biggest things to be happening for Tao in Tao's life? Next biggest events for Tao. If there is a big event coming up for Tao. Okay. So we have the Hierophant. It seems like everything for Tao is kind of under control. Like career-wise. Yeah, it seems like everything for Tao is pretty much under control. Anything that is done is honestly, like any other big events that may be happening for Tao, is not going to be something that's overly public. These things are going to be on the hush, or more so just not on camera. Yeah. There's nothing big that I can see for Tao. But I do see things. Yeah, I do see things eventually starting to go south for him. I'm not sure what this is. This is probably business and career. Probably a change in companies, like, or not companies. There's a change that is coming that may cause him a lot of stress. It may not be a very happy change. But there's a change that may be coming for him. And I don't mean the change itself may not be happy. I mean, like, the process of that change may not be a happy one. I don't know what this is. This may be career related. I think it's possibly career related. And again, it's like, you know, I know this is going to sound very rude to say, but what I get a lot from Tao is cowardice. Like, the energy I'm getting is cowardice. And when I say cowardice, I don't mean it in an offensive way. I mean, like, Tao has been traumatized by a lot of things that he doesn't talk about. And he's scared. He's very scared. He's scared to move on. He's scared to acknowledge his own suffering. he's a very scared individual. Don't let any of, however he must be on Instagram or whatever platforms he used, don't let that image fool you. He's terrified. He's terrified of a lot of things. He's terrified of letting people get close to him. He's terrified of people knowing who he truly is. He's terrified of people, seeing him suffer. He's terrified of people seeing him suffer because he doesn't want people to think he's weak. Tao is someone who's been around and dealt with people who have seen him weak and has taken advantage of that. People have been very, very cruel to Tao. People have been very, very cruel to Tao. Tao is cruel in return. But people have been very, very cruel to Tao. And so he is a traumatized person. Yeah, I'm actually getting drained reading about Tao. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Again, if you like readings like this, go ahead and follow me on, consider supporting me on Patreon. Consider supporting me by becoming a member of any choice level you want, or just subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment on what you think. Let me know more about Tao. I haven't really gotten to know Tao too much outside of the little bit that I caught of him in EXO. So please inform me about what he's like outside of EXO. Sorry, that's my phone. Let me know like the little bit about him, what he's like outside of EXO, if this makes sense to you, how this makes sense to you, because I do not follow him. I would love to hear your information and your input. And until next time, guys, peace.